and welcome back to the channel. Jovike here, and in this video I am going to be sharing with you guys how I made this beautiful two-piece. It's a blouse and a pant, and as you can see, it has an attachable sleeve. You can adjust it any way you want. You can drag it down and you can take it up. You can wear it like this, as sleeveless without the sleeves. You can rock it like this with your skirt to church or work. You can rock the pants alone like this with any blouse or top of your choice. You can wear the blouse alone with denim or any other pants or skirt of your choice. This is the more reason you need to watch this tutorial to the end. We are going to be starting with the pants, and I will also show you how to make the usual female pants. So if you are interested, keep watching and let's get started. The measurements needed for the pants is on your screen. You will need at least 3.5 yards of fabric to achieve this two-piece, and I'm going to be using this spandex fabric. So I'm going to go ahead to fold this fabric into two to draft out the front pattern, and I'm going to divide the hip measurement we are working with, which is 44 divided by 4, 11 inches plus 1 or 1.5 inch seam allowance. This becomes the crotch depth, and I will mark it out like this and also like this to get a block pattern. I am marking it out like this to make it equal. After that, I will get my ruler and I will draw my horizontal and vertical lines. Next is to get the crotch extension, and to get this, I will divide my hip by 20. 44 divided by 20 is 2.2, which is approximately 2 inches plus ½ inch seam allowance. I will mark it out and extend it like so. After that, next I'll go ahead and mark out my hip line, which is 9.5 inches. Please make sure you measure your client's hip line. After marking it out, I will get my curve set and then connect and curve it like so. The next step is that I will divide the crotch depth line into two. I measured it like so and I got 15 inches. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 inches. I marked the 7.5 inches here like so, and I will also mark it down so that I can get my grain line, also known as crease line. Next, I will get my ruler to connect the lines like so, thereby making a vertical line for it. Next is to get my waist to knee length measurement, and the waist to knee length measurement I am working with is 22 inches plus ½ inch allowance. I will mark it out here, mark it out here as well, and also mark it out this side just to make a straight line for it like so. After marking it out, I will go ahead and divide the knee round measurement by 2. And the round knee measurement I'm working with is 20 inches divided by 2, 10 inches. So I placed my tape rule at the center like so, and marked out 5 inches on both sides, which equals to 10 inches. Now for the seam allowance, I added ½ inch seam allowance for the inner stitch, that is the inner lapse region. You can decide to make yours 1 inch. And for the outer stitch, I will add 1 inch seam allowance. You can go ahead and add more than that. After that, I will use my cuff pattern to connect it to the hip line like so. Next, I moved down to the full length of my trouser, that is the ankle region. The trouser length I'm working with is 42 inches. I will go ahead and mark it out like so, plus extra 2 inches sewing allowance, making it 44 inches. And for the ankle round, I basically use the same measurement for the round knee on the down part, which is the round ankle. So I repeated the same 10 inches and extra sewing allowance and then marked it out. After repeating the knee measurement on the ankle, I will just use my ruler and draw a straight line on the ankle line like so. Next, I will make a vertical line and extend it to the knee line just like so. I will also take it to the other side of it and repeat the same thing. Next, I will take it to the upper part and bring in my cuff pattern to use it and curve it out just the way I am doing in this video. So the next thing is to work on the upper part of the trouser. But before that, use your chalk to make your lines very visible, more like making it thicker. So for the waist region, the round waist measurement we are working with is 32 divided by 4, 8 inches, plus 2 inches sewing and zip allowance, making it 10 inches. I'll place my tape like so and mark out 10 inches. You can decide to put extra 1 inch for that, but for mine, I will only put that at the back. After marking it out, I will use my cuff pattern to connect it to the hip line like so. Because I don't want that for the front part of this trouser, I decided to come in by 1/2 inch at the crotch area like so. And I also went ahead to connect it to the crotch line. Now it's time to cut. Make sure your lines are visible enough so you don't make mistake. So I started cutting from the down part over to the side and then to the inner part, the crotch. Then getting to the upper part of this crotch region, you're going to place your tape rule like so and come down by 1 inch. After marking out the 1 inch, you get your ruler, then use your chalk to connect it from that 1 inch to the side waist, thereby slanting it like so that when you wear your pants, it will be very fitted. I won't cut it now. I will cut it after tracing the back. So I will just go ahead and continue cutting. After cutting the front pattern, next is to cut the back, and just like we did for the front, we are going to be placing our fabric on fold like so. After folding it, I will get the front pattern and then arrange it on top of the folded fabric like so. Arrange it properly. You can go ahead and use your office pin to pin it down so that it won't shift. After placing it, the first thing we are going to do is to extend the crotch line for the back pattern. The back crotch is always longer than the front crotch, and I will be extending it with 2 inches. For hip 39 below, extend yours with 1.5 inches, but for hip 40 and above, use 2 inches to extend yours. So I'll just go up by 2 inches on the crotch vertical line and mark it out on the back pattern. After that, you come down to the hip line and also extend the line by 2 inches on the back pattern like so. After extending it, mark it out very well like this. Go ahead and repeat it for all the lines in this inseam. I am going to start extending all by 2 inches, starting from the crotch. Note that for the back pattern, all the measurements will go to the inseam. So this is me marking out 2 inches on the inseam of the back pattern. After marking it, I will get my pattern curve and then draw the back crotch. After drawing it, remember we extended the upper crotch by 2 inches. Now get your chalk and ruler and then connect the back crotch to the side waist like so. Still on the inseam, also come down to the knee length and extend it by 2 inches on the back pattern. This is me marking out 2 inches all the way from the knee length to the crotch. As you can see in the video, I have already marked out the 2 inches from the crotch down to the knee length and then down to the hemline. After marking it to the end, I will go ahead and use my ruler to draw a straight line on the hemline of the back pattern. Remember, for the front crotch, we came down by 1 inch, but we did not cut it. I will go ahead and cut it now after cutting through the back waist. This is me cutting it off now, and then I started cutting off through the inseam of the back pattern. I cut through the hemline and then to the side. And that is all for the cutting of female pants. For the sewing, I am going to take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch through the crotch first. I am done stitching the front crotch and this is what it looks like. You can open up the seam allowance like this and use your pressing iron to press it down. I will take the back part to my sewing machine and stitch the crotch as well. I am done stitching the back crotch and this is what it looks like. Next is to sew the back dart, but before that, place the front and the back crotch together like so. Arrange it very well the way I am doing in the video. You can pin it down if you want so that it won't shift. And remember, we added 1/2 inch seam allowance for the inseam, so I will take it to my sewing machine now and stitch through the inseam like so. After stitching this side, you move to the other side and also use the same 1/2 inch to stitch it down to the hemline. And for the back dart, place your tape rule at the center back like so and mark out 4 inches for the dart. Place your tape rule there and mark out 5 inches for the dart depth. Now when you take it to your sewing machine, you are going to fold it like this and stitch where my index finger is pointing. Slant it while sewing. I'm going to move to the other side and repeat the same thing. Place your tape rule on your center back and mark out 4 inches, then come down by 5 inches for the dart depth. I will also fold it and stitch through. I will just go and sew the inseams and the dart. Guys, I'm done sewing it, and this is the two darts. I will also show you the inseam. As you can see, I am done stitching the inseams, and this is what it looks like. The stitches are very neat, and I used the exact ½ inch seam allowance to stitch it through. So for the usual female trouser, you can go ahead, mark your fittings measurement and stitch through the outer seam, that is joining both sides. But for this our trouser with a side flare or gathers, I will go ahead and cut out a long material for the side gathers. You can decide to make yours flare. For the long material, we will be needing 2 for both sides. I placed it on fold. After taking my measurement, I will cut it into 2. I will place my tape like this and mark out 6.5 inches for the wideness. Then for the length of the long material, you can add 25 or 30 or more inches to your trouser length to get the length for the long material, depending on how full you want it to be. I added 25 to my trouser length, which is 42, to get 67 inches. So I marked out 67 inches by 6.5. After that, I opened it up to cut it into 2 equal parts for the both sides of the trouser. So guys, I am done cutting it, and I went ahead to cross-check the length of the long material. So the next thing to do is to weave the edge of the long material, or you can turn it or hem it. After weaving or turning it, the next thing is to take it to my sewing machine and gather this other side. I will also get the second long material and then repeat the same thing I did for the first one, which is either turning the edge or weaving it. After that, then I will go ahead to gather this other side like so. The next thing I will do is to measure how long I want my gathers to be. So I'll place my tape on the waist of my pant and then measure down to where I want my gathers to reach. I will stop at 40 and also gather the long material down to 40 inches. I will fold the edge of my trouser with 1.5 inches, take it to the sewing machine and hem it. I will also turn the edge of the other side and stitch it down as well. Guys, I'm done gathering the long material, and this is what it looks like. Don't forget to lock your stitch after gathering. I've also gathered the second one. I have also torn the edge of the pants, and this is it. The next thing I'll do is to mark out the measurement of my trouser and then get the gathered material and start placing it on it like so. I will get my office pin and start pinning it line by line. As you can see, this is me arranging and pinning it down from the waist, the hip, the knee, and down to the end. After pinning it, I will take it to my sewing machine and stitch it down. But before then, I will move to the other side of the pant and repeat the same thing I did for this other side. After marking out the measurement, I will get the gathered material and then start placing it on it. I will also use my office pin to pin it down from the top to where I want the gathered material to stop. I am done stitching it down, and this is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and arrange it very well, take in the gathered material. I am taking it in so that I can take my measurement and couple up the pants. So to couple your trouser or your pants, even if it won't have the side gathers, watch closely and repeat exactly the same thing that I'm doing in this video. So first is to arrange your pant this way after you must have finished sewing the inseam. Then remember the back pant is bigger than the front, so place the out seam together like this, and for the inseam, drag it in the way I am dragging it in this video. As you drag, you adjust the out seam for the front and back to be exactly the same. So after that, I went ahead to mark out my waist measurement divided by 4, and then I came down to the upper laps region and I marked out my upper laps divided by 2. It should be your hip measurement divided by 4 actually, but because of big laps, I decided to use the laps measurement instead, and the upper laps measurement I am working with divided by 2 is 13 inches. Next, I will get the knee length measurement, and from there I will mark out my round knee measurement divided by 2. I will now use my chalk to connect the lines and make them visible and thicker. I will move to the other side of the pant and repeat the same thing we did for this side. After marking out the measurements like so, I will use my chalk to connect everything together and make the lines visible, and then take it to my sewing machine to stitch it and couple it up. But before that, I will place my tape rule on the waist of my pants and then mark out where I am going to fix my zipper. I marked it at 9 inches depending on how you want it. I am making the line visible so that while joining the sides, I will double stitch here and then fix the zipper from here. This is the zipper and I will stitch it to the pants after coupling. Guys, I'm done stitching both sides and this is what it looks like. I have fixed the zip to the pant as well, and as you can see, everything is neat. I have turned to the right side of our pant and our trouser is giving already. It's neat and it's looking very fine. So guys, next is to fix the band. For the band, cut out a pieces as long as your round waist measurement and then add extra 2 inches to it for the hook and for the sewing allowance. Then mark out 3.5 inches for the wideness. I am going to take it to the sewing machine, fold it like this, and then stitch it to the waist of the pant. Guys, on your notification bell so that you will be notified the moment I post the tutorial video on how I made the blouse of this pant. I have fixed the band and I will go ahead to fix a hook here. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, drop a nice comment and share this video with your friends. Our pant is ready. You can go ahead and be rocking it like this with any top or blouse while we wait for the blouse tutorial video. And I will be uploading the blouse tutorial video next week. Subscribe and on your notification bell so that you won't be left out. Thank you so much for watching till now. Click on the picture that just appeared to subscribe now. See you in my next video. Bye.